runway 1331.
Hey, it's Rich back with you for another video. 2016 Citation Mustang out of Joplin, Missouri. This one's got 1,800 hours total time. It's getting ready to go in for hot sections. We're going to be putting it on the market. I'm going to tell you all about it. Clear for takeoff 18 in the left turn. 327 Juliet Alpha. Engine instruments are all green. Airspeed's alive. Both sides. Positive climb gear goes up. Flaps go up. Climb power.
Traffic. Traffic.
God damper. Bilge. Pressurization's coming up. Okay, this is going to be a quick flight. We're just going to do a loop here and go in and do a GPS approach into back into Joplin. This is a quick maintenance flight. This airplane just had a bunch of dock inspections done. Thought it'd be a good opportunity to show it flying. Again, serial 472, got 1,800 total time, NXI, factory paint interior, which is in excellent condition. Panel looks great. Everything looks really you know, in as close to new condition as you can get on one of these Mustangs, especially when you consider factory paint and interior. It's got ESP in and out. I think it's got an upgraded radar. I think it's the GWX70, Bluetooth audio panels. Just a really great example of a Mustang, and in particular, when you consider the late serial number, I mean, that's the late serial numbers are the ones that are really as close to new as you can get and have what I would consider really high value in the market. This one won't last long if it's not already spoken for. I've already talked to a couple of people on it. It's going to go quick. And my perspective on these Mustangs is you really can't go wrong on a Mustang. As long as you buy it within the market, a good airplane with average to low time, engine programs, or at least the engine programs accounted for in the price. If it doesn't have engine programs, you can upgrade it to NXI, you can upgrade paint and interior, but if you got a good airplane, in my opinion, you can't go wrong because they're not making them anymore. When I say you can't go wrong in terms of the investment, the money you put into it, because I think there's always going to be a pretty good built-in market for them. They're not building them anymore, so there's only a restricted number or a finite number of airplanes, and we're losing airplanes overseas too. So domestic airplanes that are available may become harder and harder to find. So that's why I say a Mustang is a good, safe buy with a built-in market that's really, really solid in terms of resale values. It's great to be able to sell airplanes to people, and then in 2 or 3 years when they go to sell them and move up or get out of flying or step down, whatever it is, that the value is is still there in their airplane, oftentimes could be worth more. And so that's always a good feeling, and that's one thing I love about airplanes is they tend to hold their value pretty well. If you study the market, you study the trends, study the history, you can nobody can read the future, but you can come to a really educated guess of what these airplanes are going to be worth in the future. Citation Mustang, in my opinion, is one of the best. It is the best entry-level airplane you can get. And that's not to say that, as I mentioned, the other ones aren't good, excellent airplanes as well. It's just I think the Mustang has had the most emphasis put on designing it for low-time, first-time jet pilots. And the safety statistics on these airplanes, I think, prove the point because they have a very good safety record. All right, so I've got a RNAV approach loaded in here. I'm going to set the final approach fix altitude at 2,600 feet and engage VNAV. And we'll let this thing fly down. Tower 227 Juliet Alpha, we're out here by Wamba. We're just going to follow this RNAV 18 approach in for a full stop.
227 Juliet Alpha, Tower, roger.
So if you're thinking about upgrading, you're watching this video and you're contemplating buying or stepping up to an entry-level jet, and you're just getting started or you've done a lot of research, there's a lot of resources on YouTube, a lot of resources on the internet. It's one of the great things about the internet as you do research. I've sold a bunch of Mustangs. I've sold a bunch of first-time jet buyers their airplanes. And so it's something I really enjoy doing is that transition into a jet, and it's very rewarding. You know, it's a
November adjustment altimeter 3021.
You know, it's. I think people who have done it will tell you it's work. You got to study and you've got to do the check ride and go through the oral and do all the stuff that you have to do to get the type rating, but it's very rewarding, and it's a lot of fun to do it, and I think everybody, without exception, comes out of it with the feeling that they're a much better pilot all the way around, having gone through a type rating and type rating training. We can do the type rating in the airplane. You can go to flight safety. We can help you get prepared for flight safety because that's a different kind of environment doing the simulator type rating if you haven't done it before. So there's some preparation you can do for that as well. So soup to nuts, really. Help you find an airplane, a good airplane based on having flown a bunch of different citations, done a bunch of pre-buys on them, Mustangs, or an M2. That's really the specialty, but I've helped people upgrade to CJ3s and CJ4s as well. But the actual comprehensive package to find an airplane and put it through the process to buy it, transition into the airplane, type rating, mentor flying afterwards. It's all something I do and enjoy doing. So if you have any questions at all about what goes into all this, give me a call, leave me an email, leave a comment. Okay, the glide slope's coming up. I'm not quite below my flap speed here, so I'm gonna slow down a little bit. There's the flap speed. And basically what I've done now is I've set my power. Here comes the gear. I'm setting power for VREF fully configured. And once I get to the final approach fix here, I'm going to be, now I'm at my flap speed. So power set, gears down. Not quite to the final approach fix yet, so I'm just going to leave the flaps where they're at for now. Over the final approach fix, I'll be fully coupled and configured. And that's kind of my my rule. Here's the final approach fix. So landing flaps, power set. Now I'm just going to watch the speed come back to VREF. I am pretty disciplined about being fully configured at the final approach fix. And I know there's techniques that, you know, you can make configurations inside the final approach fix, but I was always taught no configuration changes inside the final approach fix. Configured and on speed and stable at the final approach fix, or it's a go around. You don't take a not configured for landing, unstable or not on speed, you don't take that inside the final approach fix. And so I've always flown that way, and it's always served me pretty well. And this is an easy airplane to do that. So the before landing check real quick, I got 3 green, I'm configured for landing, flaps down and indicated, speed's coming in. And get my landing light on. Just confirm 227 Juliet Alpha is clear to land.
7 Juliet Alpha, runway 18, clear to land.
Clear to land 18, 227 Juliet Alpha. Watching the speed now, and the goal is really not to touch the power. And anyway, to me, that's a fairly simple, easy way to operate, and if you stay disciplined about it, your go around would be at the final approach fix if you're not stable, or before the final approach fix. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to go around from 1,500 to 2,000 feet AGL than it is from down super low and closer to ref. So I think it's a better scenario all the way around. I realize it's my opinion, and there's different approaches to that, but that's how I do it, and it's worked well for me, and I think perhaps the airlines do it similar to that as well. The landing distance that the book gives you is based on, in this airplane, ref at 50 feet, power to idle, normal, stable approach first, and then a normal round out to flare to touchdown, and maximum braking. So if you're ref plus 10, you can't expect advertised landing performance. If you don't get the power off at 50 feet, you're going to, at ref, landing distance goes down. If you don't use maximum braking, landing distance increases. So those are things you all have to be. So there's about 50 feet. I'm going to go power to idle. And there's VREF, 1,000-foot markers right there. I'm not going to use maximum braking, but no need to. We got plenty of runway. But that's what the book says. And so it's nice to add a landing factor, because you don't always meet those criteria. So it's always nice to add at least probably a 25% factor for the landing distance.
Station 7 Juliet Alpha, contact ground point 6.
Thank you, sir. That was a quick flight. That's all I really wanted to do in this airplane, just check it out and give you a quick overview of it. And again, if you have any questions about Mustangs, entry-level jets of any kind, or stepping up to a turbine airplane, period, turboprop, Meridians, TBMs, got experience in those airplanes too, give me a call. I can help you out, and thanks for watching.